In 1942, America was losing the Pacific War. Not to the Japanese, but to the rain. In the jungles of the Pacific, American soldiers were sleeping in canvas tents that disintegrated in 3 weeks. Monsoon downpours turned supply depots into lakes of mud. Ammunition was ruined. Food rotted. Worse, soldiers were being hospitalized, not from enemy fire, but from pneumonia and trench foot. Their shelter was literally falling apart. Subscribe for more untold World War II stories. The U.S. military was facing a logistical nightmare. They needed to deploy 2 million men, but it would take 18 months to build conventional wooden barracks, and that required skilled carpenters and lumber that simply didn't exist on remote coral atolls. The war would be over before the troops had roofs over their heads. The call went out. It was a list of impossible, science fiction demands. Design a building that can be shipped 10,000 miles. It must be assembled in 1 day by exhausted soldiers who have never held a wrench. It must survive 130-degree heat, Category 5 typhoons, and Japanese bombs. And they needed 10,000 of them. Yesterday. The British had a similar design, the Nissen hut, but it was flawed. It was too heavy, used an internal wooden frame that termites devoured in weeks, and, worst of all, required a concrete foundation. It was a non-starter. The solution came from a team of engineers at Quonset Point, Rhode Island. They took the simple, elegant arch of the Nissen hut and made a series of revolutionary changes. First, they eliminated the internal frame. They used corrugated steel, just like on a farm silo, creating a self-supporting arch. The corrugations, the wrinkles in the metal, acted like thousands of tiny I-beams, making the thin steel skin strong enough to carry all the loads itself. No wood for termites to eat, and it was thousands of pounds lighter. Second, they eliminated the floor. The hut was designed to sit directly on the ground on sand, coral, or mud. This single decision cut assembly time in half and made the structure infinitely more versatile. The result was a masterpiece of brilliant simplicity. A 9,000-pound kit of nested steel panels that could be packed flat, shipped across the world, and assembled by 6 men with basic hand tools in just 8 hours. It was a miracle in a box. But could it survive? The first combat test came in August 1942 on the beaches of Guadalcanal. Marines bolted the huts together in a coconut grove under sporadic artillery fire. 3 days later, a Japanese bombing run scored a near miss. A 500-pound bomb detonated 40 yards away. The blast wave vaporized the canvas tents, but the Quonset hut flexed. The corrugated steel arch absorbed and redirected the shockwave. When the smoke cleared, the hut was standing, its occupants shaken but alive. Then came the typhoons. In 1944, Super Typhoon Cobra hit the Philippines with 140-mile-per-hour winds. It reduced 80% of the conventional wooden buildings on the base to splinters. But of the 43 Quonset huts, 39 survived without a scratch. The simple arch, which deflected wind like water off a stone, had proven to be one of the strongest structures on Earth. American industry unleashed a flood. At its peak, factories were churning out 8,000 of these tin cans a week. By the end of the war, over 160,000 had been shipped to every corner of the globe, housing nearly 6 million personnel. The Quonset hut was the unsung hero of the war. It was the factory that housed the mechanics who fixed the B-29s. It was the hospital that saved the lives of wounded Marines. It was the barracks that gave soldiers a dry place to sleep, safe from the rain and the rot that was killing them faster than the enemy. It was an impossible building, born from desperation and solved with brilliant, simple engineering. It was the weapon no one saw coming, the humble steel arch that proved you can't win a war if you can't even win the fight against the weather.